Most people believe retirement is about money. But after helping retirees for decades, one thing becomes obvious. Money is rarely the real problem. Fear is. Think about it. Before retirement, people worry. Do I have enough money? After retirement, the question changes. Am I spending too much? Different question, same fear. For 40 years, you've trained your brain to save. Save for emergencies, save for the future, save for retirement. That habit helped build your wealth. But when retirement arrives, something strange happens. The same habit that made you successful starts working against you. Because retirement requires a completely different skill, not saving, spending. And that's where many people get stuck. They finally reach the finish line, but they never allow themselves to enjoy the prize. The truth is, most retirees aren't waiting for more money. They're waiting for certainty. They're waiting for a feeling. A moment when they wake up and say, "Now I'm ready." The problem? That moment almost never comes. Because confidence is not a feeling. Confidence is proof. Think about any skill you've ever mastered. Driving, public speaking, running a business. You didn't become confident first. You became confident after doing it repeatedly. Retirement works exactly the same way. The people who enjoy retirement the most don't have perfect portfolios. They have proof. Proof that their plan works. Proof that they can handle uncertainty. Proof that they can survive difficult years. That's what creates confidence, not the size of the account. One of the biggest mistakes future retirees make is assuming everything will go perfectly. But life never works that way. Markets crash. Inflation rises. Unexpected expenses appear. Health problems happen. The question isn't whether problems will show up. The question is whether your plan can survive them. The most confident retirees don't avoid these questions. They face them. They ask, what happens if the market drops 20%? What happens if inflation stays high? What happens if I live longer than expected? What happens if healthcare becomes expensive? Every answer removes uncertainty. Every answer builds confidence. Because once you've tested the plan during bad scenarios, the future becomes less scary. You stop relying on hope and start relying on evidence. But there's another problem. Most people never practice retirement before retirement. Imagine signing up for a marathon, then showing up on race day without training. Sounds ridiculous. Yet millions of people do exactly that. They work for 40 years, then suddenly stop receiving a paycheck without ever practicing what that feels like. A smarter approach is simple. For the last year before retirement, try living on your retirement budget. Spend only what you expect to spend after leaving work. Save the rest. This teaches you something incredibly valuable. Reality. You'll quickly discover whether your plan works, not on paper, not in a calculator, in real life. And that experience is worth more than almost anything else, because fear grows in uncertainty. Experience destroys uncertainty. There's another shift that's just as important. Most people see spending as losing. Every dollar spent feels like a step backward. That's understandable. For decades, saving was rewarded. Spending felt dangerous. But retirement changes the rules. The money wasn't saved just to sit there forever. It was saved to create a better life. Think about it. What's the point of building wealth if you're too afraid to use it? What's the point of working for 40 years if you never enjoy the reward? Money is a tool, not a trophy. The happiest retirees understand this. They don't spend carelessly. They spend intentionally. They spend on experiences, family, travel, memories, personal goals, things that actually improve life. Because when money has a purpose, spending no longer feels painful. It feels meaningful. That's the difference. The money leaves the account, but value enters your life. And finally, there's one truth nobody wants to hear. You will never feel completely ready. Not for retirement, not for any major life decision. You weren't completely ready when you started your career. You weren't completely ready for your biggest opportunities. You weren't completely ready for most important moments in your life. Yet you moved forward anyway. Retirement is no different. The goal is not to eliminate fear. The goal is to move forward despite it. The most successful retirees still have doubts. They still worry sometimes, but they trust the work they've done. They trust the plan they've built. And most importantly, they trust themselves. So if you're waiting for the perfect moment, stop waiting. Build the plan, test the plan, practice the lifestyle. And remember this, confidence doesn't appear overnight. It is built. One decision, one habit, and one step at a time.